At the end of the day, the only reason people stereotype sometimes is because they have the power of vision. If they didn't see, then they would just hear and feel and understand.
So hold on.
Go.
Let
Yeah,
me
go ahead.
kick that back to the five
Go ahead.
senses, right?
Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
You just totally kicked it, but I'm gonna kick that back to you. I just wanted to say that. Yes, sir. Welcome to the United Podcast Show, man. I'm excited for this show today, man. I'm on here with my brothers today, and we got a new show, and we're kicking it off. And the topic is culture in the hood.
Yes, sir.
Man,
yes,
it's
sir.
one of them things that people are scared to talk about, right?
Yep.
Because people don't know their culture in the hood. So I want to introduce my brother Eddie, just to kick it off real quick, just to say hello.
Yo, my brother, let me just say, man, I'm always excited. I'm always excited because we're always going to talk about some real live topics. And I really hope that, our audience can vibe in and they can feel what we're saying, because we're talking from the heart. Everything we say is from the heart, man.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Without further ado, man, yeah, man, introduce your next brother, yo.
Yeah.
Good.
Man, this brother here, my brother Ray. Oh,
Yes,
my
sir.
goodness. Yes, sir. Ray, just say hello and kick it in so we can get this show kicked off real quick.
Yeah. I just want to continue what Eddie said, right? So, yes, we are really, truly speaking from heart and it's very genuine. And this topic today, it's going to be very, very deep. Maybe sentimental, but I think it's going to be deep and you're going to see a lot of things come out of there. So, yes, without further ado, let's go.
Yeah. So, listen, today's topic is called Culture in the Hood. And if you know anything about the culture in your hood where you grew up, which I know I have a lot of culture in my hood, it's very, very, very I won't say sensitive, but it's important. You know what I mean? So my first question, I'm gonna kick it off. My first question is to my boy Eddie. It's like stereotyping in the hood. How would you answer that question? Right?
So
deep.
before, it's very deep. It's very deep, and I hope the audience understands what I'm about to say. Because if I say it a different way, just understand the heart, right? Pay attention, the stereotype. When you stereotype, is only what you heard about a certain specific group, and then you go with that, right? For example, right, like you could say a certain group does certain things. It's nonsense, man. At the end of the day, you cannot stereotype a group with the way they look, because of the language they use, because of the way they walk, because of the clothes they talk. I'm sorry. Because of the clothes they wear, talking and closing. But
just a little excited. We get you. You're just a little excited.
But sometimes, but you know what? When people stereotype, they say, there's a certain look, so it talks. And it talks to their mind. And whatever it is that they think, it's what they think about everybody that may be that person or that race or that, or that nationality, So let me just start off with that, right? At the end of the day, the only reason people stereotype sometimes is because they have the power of vision. If they didn't see, then they would just hear and feel and understand.
So hold on.
Go.
Let me kick that back to the five senses, right?
There you
go. You just totally kicked it, but I'm gonna kick that back to you. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. But and at the end of the day, listen, man. Me being a Dominican man, I get stereotyped. I get profiled. I look a certain way. Whatever that way looks, I am that person that fits certain criterias, right? So, for example, if I get pulled over because I look a certain way, if 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 I am treated a certain way is because I come from a certain group or I look like a certain group that gets treated a certain way.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so that's that whole stereotyping thing, which is very ignorant. At the end of the day, stereotyping is very ignorant. So when you ask me, Chuck, when you say, yo, stereotyping in the hood, first of all, a hood to me, when I think hood, I think of low poverty areas, right? Where I was born and raised, right? I think of areas where a lot of immigrants come and migrate to because we get the side, right? We get the area where it's not prime time. We're not gonna come from a different country and go straight to prime time. We're not doing all that. So we get so we might, because we're first generations, we might get government assistance. Because now if we were to do the whole you know, becoming American, then we might get the WIC. We might get Section 8. We might get food stamps. But we're looked upon as less than another group, right? So if we're looked upon as less than another group, then that's the whole stereotype, right?
Yep.
And I know I don't know if I'm saying a lot.
Speak your mind, brother. Speak your mind, brother. No,
and I'm gonna speak my mind. It's only because this is the life that I live, man. Listen, man. My parents, first generation here, factory workers, both of them factory workers, but they understood that the struggle is real. So like that, there could be more opportunities here because there's more money, obviously, in the United States, and there's more opportunities. So you sacrifice, right? But we don't want to go that route because that could be a whole nother topic, right?
Yeah.
But when we talk about stereotype, the media plays a humongous role in stereotyping. Right. Because if all you know is what the media and the reporters say about that area, then that's all you know. So if you end up going to the area, then that's what you think. But it's not so much so like that, right?
Right.
You know, and it's a shame that the ignorance of people sometimes will hold back another group of people because of what they were told to believe. Right? And it can come from your parents. It can come from media. It can come from friends, right? I don't know if I'm answering your
question. Ignorance. Just also
sheer ignorance.
Just sheer ignorance. I don't know if I'm answering your question, Chuck, but when you ask that question, I feel like it's all about me and the way I'm perceived sometimes in this world.
Well, and also too, I'm sorry, but also too, it's like when you say stereotype in the hood, it could be one of those things where, man, you know, it's like your boys that you hang out with it, you know, they go, why is he speaking this way? Why is he speaking that way? You know what I mean? It's like they're stereotyping. It's like because he's from a different culture. He's from a different background. So
look, at the end of man, listen, at the end of the day, you know, we don't like to consider ourselves as a caste system, right? Like rich, medium, poor. We don't like to say that, but at the end of the day, there is a system here. And the system is that if you're born in a certain area, you know, then you are this type of way. So you're treated a certain type of way. And I don't want to get into the whole police brutality and the whole like the whole like incarceration rates, but we can very easily get there, right?
Because that's all part of culture in the hood, though. You know, it's all part of the culture in the hood. It's like, so speak your mind, man. It's like if you have something to say.
I just want to add something to what Eddie just said with regards to the system, right?
Yeah, please do.
It's a system that does not always provide all of the possibilities of trying to break the chain.
That's right.
Right.
It's more of a system of, okay, either you maintain at that poverty level or sometimes even pushes you further and further and further on your dependencies, right? So if I may, Chuck, I do want to talk about, you know, a little thing that he said that goes into, for example, the type of businesses that you would see in our hood, right? And I want to break it down in a couple of in a couple of areas, right? So first of all, let's talk about the businesses, right? So you see a lot of liquor stores, you know, you may see a lot check cashing places, and I'm just going to use those two as an example because I will break it down in so many different ways, right? So the liquor stores, right? One of probably just to set up that business model should be fairly easy, right? You just there's a certain product that you sell, right? You don't really have to have a lot of employees. Usually it's people that are not from the hood or from that area. They get the license and they sell it, right? So from a business setup perspective, not hard. Now let's take a restaurant, for example. A restaurant also sells liquor. Well, why don't we have restaurants there? Because you got to have some type of clientele who should be able to, have that cash flow to bring it in. You got to have, you have to be able to find, I'm sorry, Eddie. I hear you.
No, you're saying some very key points. And if you think about it, sometimes the government uses us because this is what we do, right?
Yep. But let him finish. Let him finish. He's going somewhere. He's going somewhere with it.
So
my bad.
No worries.
About this topic right
here.
Yeah. And that's what we said earlier. It's going to be very sentimental.
You got it.
Listen,
you got it.
A restaurant business would employ usually people from the same neighborhood, right? It will help the community grow, right? It will bring it up, right? Because you could get some sponsorship, you could do some other type of activities related to the restaurant. But we don't have that. We have liquor stores. And all that perpetuates is just dependency on alcohol. And then unfortunately, but for the most cases, it hits home hard in terms of the family structure. It's going to break it down. It could go down the path of some abuse, some physical abuse, some dependency. Again, goes back to my point of always trying to keep you down and not trying to provide any way out. You don't have the right resources if you have a dependency within the neighborhood, right? And if you're trying to get that kind of help, the system will require you to have either a good health insurance background or backup or anything else. It would not accept you to just go in there for free. So that's just what you get from the liquor store. Yeah.
I want to pose a question because you're bringing up a very expensive, and I say expensive because it's a good point, right? Are you saying that in the hoods, there's certain businesses that are put in there because they know, and the government knows that if they put these businesses in there, then it's going to create more monies for improvement based on, like, if you have a lot of alcoholism, if you have a lot of, just certain people that portray a certain thing. And again, and I'm going to say this, right? If you're first generation here, you're trying to figure out United States. So you will make mistakes some way, somehow. You will fall into certain gaps. So if you put a liquor store in a certain place, not for that, but alcohol is very social, but that could also cause a problem and a downfall in your progress in life.
It's social. It's social in Charles. It's social in the get up of you have a restaurant, you have a bar, you come together, you have a few drinks, you exchange some words, camaraderie, laughing, and then you separate. Liquor stores in that particular neighborhood, you go, and
every corner,
even in the caliber of liquor sold in there is some of the cheapest, right? So
yeah, you're right.
Again,
you're right.
Again,
totally right.
Again, they will try and milk out everything that they can, right? In giving you this, it's liquor. It's not the best thing, right?
So we're saying, I'm saying there's a liquor store on every corner in the hood, right? And I'm saying there's a check cashing place on every other.
Okay, thank you.
Every other corner of the hood, because guess what? Because once you cash your check, where you going?
Don't take my point.
My bad.
Time out. Sand the time here.
Talk about what kind of check.
Okay, hold on. I got this, right? So yes. So you have check cashing places, right? You don't have banks. I'll come back to the banks. You have check check cash in places. What does that do, right? It
So
enables you.
I'm sorry. There are banks.
Yeah.
There are banks, but
okay.
Not that, but
not.
But
yeah, there are banks, but okay.
But
so
but you got to go. Let
me finish my point. Let me finish.
Okay, gotcha.
Let me finish point. Right.
Gotcha.
So, what the check cash in place provide is the ability to have liquidity, quick liquidity.
Yes.
So what happens when you got liquidity like cash in your hand, right? For the most part, you're going to spend it faster, right? You don't usually put it in the bank. You're going to spend it faster. You're not going to have some good financial decisions. It will be harder for you to save money. And if you don't have the money, where else do you go to get some money? So with those check cash in places, you have these unregulated loan shark companies right there, where you go there and you borrow money, and then you have to pay an arm and a leg to get it back. Again, a system of pressing, dependency, shackles. That's what I see. Now, banks, right? How many people do you think in the hood have checking accounts or saving accounts? Or they much rather save the money under a bed, under the pillow? You will be surprised that the number within our community is very, very low in terms of how many people actually do go to banks.
Right.
Very low. And again, I tie all that back to they know the spending habits. They put, check cash in places, stores, flashy stores. You go there, you spend your money, and guess what? By the third day after your paycheck, you may not have any money, or you're going to be, struggling. So it's a system in my mind that kind of all works together, and there is nothing there. There is no financial, not a lot of financial institutions there, not a lot of financial planners in those areas. A lot of mutual, the insurance thing. I don't see them there. But go ahead, Eddie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. I think you're bringing up a very good point. It's only because I think it's a government's plan, right? So there's certain areas, and it's all, and I said this earlier, it's all a class system, right? Where are banks going to get the bang for the buck, right? In certain areas where there's more income, right? So if there's areas, and they're designated areas, so when we do the census, we talk about how many people are in a certain home, and we talk about what's the the income, and this is the way people are treated, right? I feel like we're coming a little bit off of the topic only because we're getting into this topic is so deep that we're talking about like where we came from and how we experienced what we experienced. But I think what we're really talking about is how people are raised, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, Charlie, how people are raised and how people are perceived in a hood, even if they are not a certain look, right? Like, for example, we are perceived, you got black and brown people and we're from the hood, but how about a white person that was born and raised in the hood?
So let me throw this to you. So this question is how to understand the different cultures in the hood. So that's actually to what you're about to say or what your question is, right?
Right.
How to understand like the black, the brown, the white, the Latinos, like whatever you want to, however you want to bring it to the. How do you understand the different cultures in the hood?
So by definition, and I'm going to read this straight off the internet, the customs, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, right?
Yeah.
And the nation could be your area, your neighborhood, your place of where you reside, right?
Origin, your place of origin, yeah.
The people or social group, right? So whatever people think, right? At the end of the day, this is clear, right? To me that when people are born in a certain area, it has nothing to do with color. It has to do with the people and the way people are treated, or the way people receive each other, or the way people stick together. In certain areas where I would say this, and this is only because I know this because of my own experience. In my neighborhood where I was born, people stuck together because we were all in the same fight. And it had nothing to do with color. They were Dominican, they were black, they were white, they were Asian. And at the end of the day, everybody understood each other. So if you look at an Asian person, you say Asian people are like this. How about the Asian person that was born in Washington Heights? Right? How about that white person that was born in Washington Heights that understood what the struggle was because the financials were incorrect or whatever it was, whatever it may have been, right? Um, and then you have a certain lingual, right? So when you hear a certain person talk a certain way, you're like, why are you even talking like that? What do you mean? Why are you talking like that? This
and
is,
and
yeah,
and that
but
goes that goes back to the whole point of this stereotype, right?
right. So so people expect certain people to be a certain way.
Right. When you
They
see somebody and you hear somebody, like their
right.
stereotype is like because you expect them to speak a certain way, right? Act a certain way,
Mhm.
just on the type of just what they look like, what they sound like, of their whole image.
So, Eddie,
eh,
would you
Yep.
say
Yep.
that the culture, as you described it just now, with the various ethnicities and background, and would you consider that a rich culture because of how it brings so many people, so many different backgrounds to coexist in that ecosystem? Sometimes, as you said, happily.
You know what, Ray? Thank you for asking that question. Number one, when you say rich, I think everybody's culture is rich
Hmm.
because this is who they are in their culture. Whether you're white, wherever you're born, what I feel is that as a human race, we all share the same characteristics, right? If you're a
Tears,
parent,
bloods, yep, tear,
you know,
blood, everything,
if you're a parent, you want your children
emotions.
to
Mm-hmm.
succeed. As a human, you want to be happy. You want a job because this is what the society has created in order for you to be a successful person to make money because money is a currency that is used for freedom. Freedom meaning to take trips, to pay for rent, for being able to live happy. It's just currency, right? But not everybody has that opportunity. Some people are given this so-called opportunity, but at the same time they're being suppressed. So if I'm a person that gets a check every month, yeah, I get a check every month, but I'm still getting limited to where I can go as a human. I know I'm going different ways,
So hold on.
and I know I am.
So let me redirect just a whole different thing.
Go for
It's
it.
like the structure of the hood. If you can restructure how you could how can I put this?
Improve.
Improve or direct the whole situation of where you grew or how to like Ray said improve. How would you re
I'll take it. I'll take it from there.
oh
I'll take
gotcha.
it from there.
So
So,
the whole thing
And then I'll add because I have something to say about that too.
hold on. So the whole thing was structure of the hood. So how would you restructure or how would you um, make it better?
Keep in mind the hood is created.
Right. So let Ray answer
Look,
that.
go for it.
yeah, the way I would do it, and I think this is where we started going, and we want to make sure that we brought it back. But to answer the specific question here is, I would address the economic status and the investment within the neighborhood because it would have it would have an impact on some of the decisions you can make, some of the opportunities you may have in there, which would change the whole structure of the hood.
Right.
For example, you could bring in some investments to have more playgrounds. You maintain the playgrounds. You don't have something that's been there for ages and ages, and the kids have nowhere else to go. Improve the playgrounds, improve the infrastructure, bring in some more businesses so you could have a working workforce in that neighborhood, have more opportunities, and not what you may be presented. You have other ways out, right? And have more community type activities, jobs. For some people it may be difficult to be in that environment, and they may not have anybody to be able to talk to, or out. Have those social structure services in there as well. I may not have the answer for you because I may not be the professional, but if you have somebody in the neighborhood that you can turn to anonymously, because shame is also a big thing that we deal that people deal in the hood for some reason.
That's true. So Eddie,
I'll throw it at you, Eddie.
Eddie, well, hold on. I have a really major question for you. You hear a lot of people saying trying to adjust to the system, beat the system. How do you beat the system versus trying to work with the system?
Uh-oh. He put on his Zen sound.
I had to.
How do you beat the system as opposed to
working with the system? Trying to work with the system, trying to make the system work for you, versus trying to beat the system. It's like, why would you try to beat the system? Work with the system.
Once you hear the word system, it doesn't work. Whatever system is not working because there's a system in place for something that's not working.
So why try to beat it? Try to work with it.
So if I was to go with the system that was in place for me, then I wouldn't be the successful person that I am today.
Okay.
So it's not enough.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it again. Say it again.
If I was to go with the system that was in place for me, I wouldn't be the successful person that I am today.
That's a very powerful statement. Just want to make.
And look, I just crossed that off because I wanted I wanted you to answer that question. So, listen.
And I'll tell you why I say that. Me being a Dominican child, I'm not a number that's going to make numbers for the United States. And this is the country where I live in. So you have to understand what it is that people are trying to do, or use the system, right? Like, for example, if they're going to offer me financial aid for me to go to school, then I'm going to take the financial aid, even if my parents were poor, right? But I'm going to go ahead and get the education. And the education is the key. That was my way out. That was my way out. Other people choose different routes, right? And I'm not even saying negative routes. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying other people choose different routes. In my case, I used the system to get my financial aid based on my parents'
social financial. So
no, they're money.
Yeah.
We didn't have money, so because we don't have money, there's money in place for people like our family, and in our family we didn't have money, so I was offered a free education, but unlike many, I took advantage of that, and I did that, and I became a little bit more than what my parents were. When I say more, at the end of the day, I cannot put a degree on what my parents knew, because if that was the case, then honestly, then they'd have their doctrines, they would have all types of degrees. In this country here, it's all about how much education you have, so you can master a certain level of education, and that's how they give you your money, right? And that's where it is. Yeah. In other countries, it's a different thing, right? Maybe if I was in a third world country, maybe I would maybe I would do crops, and maybe I would sell different products, and that might be my success. But anyway,
we say developing countries now. We don't say third world anymore.
We don't say third world. I'm sorry. Thank you. You know what? I'm gonna say something about that whole like terminology thing. I don't even know what I'm called anymore. I don't even know what people say I am. I'm offended by everything. If that's the case, am I Latin X? What the in the world is Latin X? Like it's just a terminology. So if I said there, well, I didn't mean that like in a offending way because
No.
I come from a a developing country. At the end of the day, I don't mean it like that, and I'm saying that to the audience, and I'm saying that to to people that are listening. I don't mean it like that, but the question was, you know, there's a lot of criteria that fall on the immigrant's lap, from getting pulled over by a cop, from getting profiled, and end up getting a record. And then once you get a record, it's over. That's it. Done. Chances are you're never going to become successful. And I say, not never going to be successful, but the probability of,
you're gonna run into unnecessary and unwarranted charges and harassment and
because we get profiled in the hood, and in the hood, because we are struggling and because we don't have the opportunities that other people have, we're going to try to find other opportunities.
So well, I'm sorry, but that's why I say, how do you understand the different cultures in the hood? Because the different cultures in the hood, because if you think about it, you have to when you leave home, am I gonna be profiled? Am I gonna be am I gonna be like pulled over? Just for no reason at all.
You're gonna go through it. You're gonna go through it.
So Ray, it's like when you go to Jersey City or Newark, whatever you're doing, going to your job, are you gonna be pulled over? Are you gonna be like put over by the path police? You know what I mean? It's like
it's always in the back of my mind. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when I go to California, am I gonna be pulled over by highway patrol, BART police, or all that? It's just the culture that we have in our hood. You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's a good point.
How do we deal with it?
I don't think that ever goes away.
It never goes away, because guess what? We still have to deal with it. And at this moment is we still have to pick and choose of how we deal with it, when we deal with it, and who should we bring in to help us deal with it, right?
It's unfair for us to have to adjust. I mean, adjust
because we have to think of like the so many different ways of how to deal with it, right? Versus the people that's injecting us, making us.
So Chuck, let me ask you this question, right?
Yes.
So, and I think this is what Eddie was I think that's what Eddie was trying to say. And Eddie, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, of course.
How are we going to change that mindset of, man, I think I'm going to get pulled over, or if the environment is not changing? And when I say the environment, I'm talking about just it's the same thing, or sometimes even getting worse, right? If you change the environment, right, then you uplift your people. Unfortunately, the stereotypes will change, right? Hey, I mean, it happened in a few.
Fortunately,
yeah, it happened in a few of some of the boroughs, right? Look at Williamsburg, flipped, changed. Look at Hoboken before, now look at Hoboken now.
Can I tell you?
I'm
sorry, I don't mean to. The United Podcast Show, right? Look in the back. There's a dude in the back. He's going like this. He has a Jets jersey on. Right?
Oh man.
United, right? This is what we all need to focus on and understand that we are all part of one hood, and we shouldn't be divided, right? We shouldn't be divided on.
I agree, but I think that the problem also need to be clearly stated, right? Because I know there have been multiple attempts to improve the situation, but if you have forces that go against that, where they'll deny a brother to open up a business, a legitimate business other than what we just talked about, right? Maybe open up a youth center or whatever that's not owned by the government, or any type of other business. If you deny that opportunity and you're not making any improvements to uplift the financial status of the community, in my mind, I think you're always going to have that problem.
It's just mind-boggling how it takes us so long as a human race to understand what equality is. And it doesn't matter where you're born on this earth. We are all earthlings, and we are all, I mean, think about it. It's just different addresses. That's all it is. But we all share the same struggles, the same wants, the same needs. But why does one group feel that they should suppress another group and bring them down, right, and control through government, the lifestyle of a person? At the end of the day, even an immigrant, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're from this country or not. It doesn't matter where you are born. It doesn't matter who you are. At the end of the day, if you are human, then we are all alike. Bottom line, we are all similar, and we all want the same things. And unfortunately, there are governments that suppress certain groups of people and make them think that they're less than other people. It could be based on color, through language, right? It could, I don't know about knowledge. It could be through knowledge, but
through knowledge as well.
But once you hit color and language, you're not the same. What do you mean you're not the same? At the end of the day, you have a doctor that comes from a different country. Doctor, if you're a doctor, then you understand everything that goes with a doctor. All you need is a translator. You could still be an amazing doctor. Anyway, but I know it's not that simple. But going back to what Charles was saying, it's just a shame that we at 2020 we still haven't figured out how to work together as a nation, as a country, as an earth, as a world.
As a nation, as a people.
As a people.
Just as a people.
From the whole earth.
I go back to my point. This is not anything new. The 60s, even prior to that, right? If you're going to have a systematic power to continuously push you down, we've lost so many prophets. We've lost so many people to ruthless atrocities.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, it's 2020. There are opportunities to improve, and to your point, make great success. You just got to look for it and dig into it and take advantage of of some of the aids, like financial aid to get to get schooling. If you go to some libraries, I'm probably sure you could look at the grants and any type of internship or any type of vocational training that you can get if you don't have the avenue of going. There are ways. It's just that, again, I'm going to keep harping on this. There are forces who will make it difficult to make you disillusioned, discouraged. You just got to get past that and truly focus on that. Brother.
So, like this. To end this show, I have to say, to end it.
I do want to say something before we end this show. Can I just throw one more thing?
Yes, sir. Of course you can.
Look, listen, man. We are extremely intelligent people. And at the end of the day, we need to figure out a way to succeed and live in life. It's all about survival. Whatever it is that you use for survival, figure that out. And don't let anybody tell you what you're worth. because only you know what you're worth.
Personal worth.
And if you allow people to tell you what you're worth, then you're
Issues.
hindering yourself to what you can become. And regardless of, I'm not even saying, I'm not talking about illegal stuff. I'm not really talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the mind. The mind is powerful. And if you close the mind, then the mind can't be powerful. So if we are three people here on this podcast talking about how we made it, and we're all from different places, then we are true testimonies on just keep pushing and just keep pushing and just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes,
but
sir.
never let anybody tell you that you can't do something. Bottom line.
Push.
And figure it out. Figure it out. And it bothers me and it hurts me that some people have been entrapped mentally because this is what they think they need to be like.
Mentally, physically,
we don't need to be like anything. We need to be like what we want to be.
Let's close this out. And Ray, you want to say something? Then we'll close it out.
So I'll add on to what Eddie said in terms of, never limiting yourself or going with the crowd. Just if you have something that you strongly believe in yourself, and you may not have all the resources, but it starts with you, with that light inside you. Just keep it burning.
I want to bring the show to the close, because my boy, from Eddie and Ray, and listen, the topic was stemmed from my boy from the West Coast, and he just said this is something that I think needs to be talked about. So from Eddie and Ray, I love my brothers. I want to close it out. United Podcast Show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But before we go, we want to let you know, please,
yes, sir.
If you felt a little bit of what we were saying,
subscribe.
And if you felt a little something, hit the like button.
Hit the like button.
Because at the end of the day,
my bad.
What do you call it? The aneurysm of the did I say that correctly?
Aneurysm. Yep. Aneurysm. Yep.
Of the only way we get more shows on is if you hit the like button, because that's the way YouTube works. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So throw a little love. It doesn't hurt. Just do it. It doesn't matter. We ain't coming after you.
Some comments, likes,
and just comments. You know what I'm saying? Just a little subscribing. It's all good, At the end of the day, man, listen, man. We just trying to do what we know we do, and we just talking it up. So right now, I'm gonna turn the mic to Ray, so like that he can let you know where we can be found, because we want you to just hear us. You get through audio, but I'm gonna stop. Ray, let them know.
So we're on for audio podcasts. We're on Spotify, Apple Cast, Google Cast, Stitcher, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. And
yes. We're on iHeart. Wow.
We're on iHeart as well. We actually just launched
Alexa.
We also launched our website, which we'll provide, and obviously on YouTube. Again, subscribe, like, comment, let us know what's going on, and we'll keep doing the shows for you guys. Love you guys.
Oh,
United Podcast, man.
Subscribe.
United Podcast, man.
Everything's gonna be linked below.